No one? Who here is from China? All right, and who here is from General Europe? Perfect. Yes, I have been my education is North American, so Europe is just one big clump for us. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nora Sadiq, and I will be your host and guide through the exhilarating world of Marketing 2.0. Let's put our hands together and a round of applause. And don't worry, this is not a sequel. You did not miss Marketing 1.0. This is just because this is all about what's next, what is on the next level. So I am sure you have stepped into the world where marketing magic happens. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, this edition will shape up to be a roller coaster of insight, innovation, and networking unlike you've ever experienced before. So I see that some of you have been sitting together and you've gotten to know each other. I encourage all of you to change seats, like in the next panel, and learn about the next person, okay? This is no time to be shy at all. Okay? Perfect. So I am here to personally learn a lot and engage with a lot of people. Make sure you all have your LinkedIns and make sure you all keep your social circle in the loop on LinkedIn. So, allow me to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen today. This 2.0 marketing experience is going to be all about energy, excitement, and sessions that are guaranteed to leave you inspired. Our speaker lineup is a marketer's dream filled with industry leaders ready to share secrets that will redefine how you engage with your audience. So really, it's a constellation of brilliant minds, and you need to get your hands on every piece of information possible. So don't forget, our panelists will come up, our moderators will be here for a while. Don't forget to chase them down after they stop speaking. You don't have to just engage with them when it comes to questions with the audience. All right, but we also have exhibitors here to showcase the latest and greatest in marketing products and services, ensuring that you have access to the tools you need to succeed. Plus the networking opportunities that will provide you with the perfect platform to mingle with peers, share ideas, and build lasting relationships. I've personally known partnerships that have emerged from conferences like this that have lasted years and years and years. So this is really a wonderful opportunity. Now, as we begin with day one, remember everyone to share your experience using the hashtag marketing2, as in the number 2, conf. Leave the rents out. So marketing2conf. And you gotta keep everyone in the loop. Our very first panel discussion is super exciting, but before that, I have to thank our sponsors and partners because this couldn't have been possible without them. A huge shout out to our bronze sponsor, Accelera, for their unwavering support. Let's buckle up, everybody, and get ready to embark on this journey. We have a very first panel. It speaks about merging compassion and commerce. Purpose-driven marketing transforms brand. It is crafted for innovative marketers who are passionate about leveraging their brands for social good, offering insights into how purpose-driven strategies can not only enhance brand identity, but also drive sustainable business success. So, discover from industry leaders the powers aligning brand values with social responsibility, and learn how to create marketing campaigns that resonate deeply with consumers. So allow me to introduce the moderators and the panelists. We have our moderator. Join me in welcoming with a huge round of applause, Mr. Anand S., the co-founder and brand strategist at TMA Global. Joining him, we will have our panelist, Artemis Dupa, the CEO and founder of Make Academy. And last but certainly certainly not least, put your hands together in a massive round of applause for Dario Kulic, Senior Partner and CEO at Sapiens S2P GmbH. Let's all welcome them once more together with a massive round of applause, everyone. Enjoy this panel. I will now give it over to Mr. Anand.
Right, hello. Let me shortly introduce myself. So I'm Dario Kulic and Senior Partner from Sapiens S2P. We're a consulting company and doing a lot of ERP process improvements and helping actually companies to get rid of their non-value added activities so that they have more time actually to be more creative and do other meaningful things. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Artemis Dupa. I am the founder of a company called Make Academy. We're a coaching business. We specialize in interior and fabric fashion brands founded by members who are looking for clarity, growth, and more time to design. I'm fully knowledgeable on all 8 types of digital fabric printing, and I'm very interested in sustainability. We are working with more than 1,300 brands, such as Alexander McQueen, Dior, Valentino, and I've been in the industry for over 10 years. My best-selling book, Design and Grow, introduces the Storms method, which is empowering brands to create long-lasting companies. It was born with a need from this fundamental need for companies we saw in our coaching business, which they needed with minimal expense, which also aligns with my aspiration to give as much knowledge as possible. We also working with a charity, which is trying to enable brands to give fabric a second life and increase sustainability. I'm on a mission to eradicate designer poverty and increase sustainability, because design describes who we are as in business, in our world, and in our future.
That's lovely. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Amazing. So my name is Anand Chakranarayanan. I'm a co-founder and brand strategist at TMA Global. I help businesses to become beloved brands in the category, and I guide and collaborate with entrepreneurs and business leaders in their brand building initiatives by positioning their brand with a purpose. That's what I do. And I work with brands like Nippon Paint, Citibank, Beverly Hills Polo Club, and a bunch of other B2B brands recently. And so part of my initiative is to ensure purpose is deeply seeped into business practices in today's world, and that's what we're going to discuss. And some folks on LinkedIn are kind enough to label me as top brand strategy voice that one should follow. And I also sit on the MMA Smarties Global and North America Marketing Awards Jury Council. So let's start today's discussion, and we'll start with the most fundamental question, right? What is purpose-driven marketing, and why is it important in today's scenario? Dario,
Thank you, Anand. I'm not going to define it for you, so I'll tell you what is the definition for me. So purpose-driven marketing, if you don't have a product which is unique and you have a monopoly on the market, so you definitely need to differentiate somehow. So you have a lot of competition today, and if your product is not differentiating in any kind, really on a unique selling point, then it's really difficult to get it sold anyway. But the thing is also how to differentiate then in terms of telling your purpose, your intention, your mission, so authentically, so that the people, not only the buyers, so the people, also your employees believe into it. For me, this is really important. Authenticity. It's one of the, so authenticity, emotion, your mission and your purpose. It must be real. So this is the important thing. It must be real. People must they must observe and feel that the things you're selling with your product and telling actually that they are really true, so that they can also believe into it. And now there are different aspects how to do it purposely driven. So you can do something environmentally good. You can do something against poverty, anything what helps actually mankind. And I actually like this question very much, because we in Sapiens S2P, we are also building our brand at the moment. And we have a unique action chatbot developed, which is unique on the market, and now it comes. Even though there's a monopoly, we have to tell a story, because how will the people know? So how will the people know that it is existing out there, and actually can tremendously help them, so companies, to eliminate all the non-value added activities. So up to 90% of all the wasted work you do on your day-to-day job, we are able now to eliminate with our technology and solution. And this will not bring back just cost reductions, it will bring back time. Time to the people, so they can be more creative. They are less frustrated with processes and many other things. So which actually go over the pricing.
Now imagine stepping into a world where every purchase you make is about your deepest values and what you truly believe in. This is the essence of purpose-driven marketing. It's about the transformation of the act of buying into a statement for your personal identity and a social collective beliefs. We have brands like Patagonia, which is a fashion brand, but they don't just stop there. They're big believers of ethical purchasing, sustainable practices, and giving back to the community. So by buying something from them, buying a jacket from them, that is a statement you're making. Wearing that around is about you caring more about just fashion. You care about their values, you align with them. As Dario said, alignment is super important in these cases, and this is the way to do it. Now, this emotional bond that you create with a brand, this is what makes you go back, this is what gives you trust. And today, there's so much on social media, we have access to everything, and one of the key things is that the customers demand transparency. They want to see what you do, how you do it, and you cannot just talk about sustainability and ethical practices, you need to have evidence, and they hold accountable the brands. And this is the right way to do it. It's not just about a slogan, it's about truly giving, the behind the scenes, really.
That's lovely. I think you both defined what purpose-driven marketing is clearly. To add my perspective towards this, I believe we are in the fourth revolution of business and marketing. Okay? To understand that, let's quickly go back to what are the first three revolutions that happened from the beginning. The first revolution that happened was the Industrial Revolution. Right? Businesses, decisions, and everything was stemming from factories. Right? How do I get economies of scale? How do I mass produce a particular product so I can sell it at a better price and I can rationalize the cost? Every single decision was taken purely based on the factory and the cost. So business means factory, factory means business. That was the first revolution that happened. The second revolution, where other businesses kind of caught up with the same scenario, you need some bit of differentiation that you need. So then the product marketing came into picture. Then rationalization started coming, right? So some additional features started adding in that differentiated one product to the other product. That was the second revolution. Then again, things kind of got caught up and everybody was talking the same rational thing, and it was saturation of the market. Then came the third revolution, which is a brand revolution, right? People started adding a layer of emotions towards your business, right? Suddenly, from product-centric marketing, it became consumer-centric marketing, right? How I want to make you feel by using my product or using my service, right? That's how the whole scenario was building up in the third revolution. And again, in this scenario, brands started building their own identity, their own voice, and added a bit of emotion and kept consumers at the heart of everything that they do. And today's scenario, again, due to democratization of technology, everybody got access to brand building initiatives, and it kind of became like saturation and hygiene in today's marketplace. Then the fourth revolution that's happening today is the purpose-driven marketing. Right? Why purpose-driven marketing is again going beyond the emotional consideration and doing something that is good for the society, for the community, and for a cause that we can own up. It's not only about the product that you're selling or about what consumers feel emotionally related to your brand. It's way beyond that. And why is it important in today's scenario is because consumers' decision making is extremely different in all these four revolutions. Right? The way they decide to buy one brand versus the other is very different in all these four revolutions. And today, consumers don't buy a product or a service. They join a brand. Right? I repeat, they don't buy a product or service, they join a brand. There's a huge difference. And that's why in today's scenario, I strongly believe purpose-driven marketing is extremely critical.
Thank you both for these perfect answers, I would say. All right, so let me phrase the next question. Sorry that I'm reading it from the paper, it's a very long question.
Sure.
So, in what ways can purpose-driven marketing help brands differentiate themselves in a crowded marketplace and build a stronger emotional connection with consumers?
I think the answer to that is by aligning their operations and their communications with a noble cause or with a societal goal. And this is because we're not just buying a product, as Anna mentioned, we're buying into a community. We're looking into what this can bring, how can this change the world. And we have, I will say an example about Ben & Jerry's. And we, for those who don't know, is an ice cream brand. And they're very ethical in their core. They talk about ethical values and they're very big on racial justice. They even have a flavor called Justice Remix. And by buying that flavor, you're not just buying a daily scoop of ice cream, you're really buying into the ethos, into the beliefs, you're in the community, you're aligning yourself. And the thing is that if somebody sees you, you put it on social, people know what you stand for. And this is, in such a saturated market, this is what will make you stand out in the crowd. This kind of difference is the ethical perspective. And as we know, you always have to find your audience. And what better way to do that than actually standing out and saying, these are my beliefs, this is what I want my community to be all about. And this is really what I think it really makes some of the brands stand out. It's not easy, of course. A lot of times we have issues with bigger corporations and smaller, but even trying to get into the purpose-driven branding is really worthwhile.
Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, that's a lovely example what you have pulled out on Ben & Jerry's, and even trying to include a flavor that is related to the purpose-driven initiative that you've taken. So this truly stems from the product and the business itself. It's not about just creating a marketing campaign and trying to just keep it at a superficial or a surface level. It is certainly not. It's deep into your product and the core of your business, right? Because today, there is a trust-based revolution that is being driven by consumers. And they demand businesses to be ethical, to be considerate towards the environment and the humanity as a whole. So, how do you build this strong emotional connection with the consumers, right? Through your purpose-driven initiatives. Like I said, it needs to stem from the business. There are two brands that come to my mind. There's Tom's and there's Warby Parker, right? Tom's, the shoe brand, and Warby Parker. So they came up with an initiative called 1 for 1, right? So for every pair of shoes that you buy, one pair of shoes will be donated to the underprivileged. And one pair of glasses that you buy from Warby Parker, one pair will be donated to the underprivileged. In the US, specifically, eye care is pretty expensive. And imagine living with an eye deficiency and you don't have the financial means to go and test out and get yourself fixed. You're not even living a basic quality of human life that other folks are living, right? You've been deprived of what you're supposed to be normal, right? So suddenly, these kind of initiatives from this brand changes the perspective of the audience, right? It's not about audience being fashionable by buying a Tom's pair of shoes or like Warby Parker glasses. It's suddenly about them, their action, trying to address a massive socio-economic divide that is prevalent in the society. That completely changes the perspective on decision making, right? And your consumers will go and advocate about your brand to ensure their network buys this particular product. This is how you build emotional connection and relation to your consumers, not just about doing some superficial marketing campaigns.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will just add, I actually will add a practical example just recently. So we became partners with SAP and have been invited in January to present. So we've been one of 5 awarded consulting companies who were invited to present a unique selling point and the success story actually on the solutions. And here, how we did this actually with our action chatbot is we try to understand the pains of the consumers. So and here there's a difference. So in our product, it's not a materialized product. It's nothing you can actually touch and feel. So you can see it on a computer. It's digital, but it's a solution. It's more like a service. And now, how do you get this actually sold to the people? I mean, they can't touch it, they can't feel it, but what they can is they feel the pain they are suffering today under, and what we deliver them is actually the ease of pain. So, and here there is the emotional connection already. So understanding the pains and really understanding it authentically. So from an on the field perspective, not from a high level perspective, like, yeah, I understand. No, so really deeply empathetic and understanding. And and there we go. So what happened then actually in this presentation is the consumers were on one side SAP salespeople, on the other side the end consumers, so the users actually in the companies. And here I actually could get a whole bunch of sales SAP people really cheering on this one. Because they could feel that there is a mission behind, there's a real intention, there's a story, and now they can also go out and sell it to their own clients. And yeah.
Right. I'm also going to read the question because it's a very long one. So, what are the first steps a brand should take to authentically integrate purpose-driven strategies into its marketing efforts? Would you like to take that?
Sure. So, the very first step the brand should take when they have to inculcate or implement purpose as a cause within the business process is switching the perspective. It's not about what your brand can do, what your company can afford to do. It's not. What your consumers care about, what your community really look for, the change in the market or from you. Right? That's what is very important. That's the very first step. After you identify that, inculcating purpose into the business requires both macro and micro aspects of implementation. First, at a macro view of what is the larger cost that you can own, and then micro aspects of nuances of how can you include and inculcate that into a part of your business operations in every touch point that a consumer comes across, right? It needs to be balanced both. And like I said, keep consumers and your community at the core of what you're going to do. It's not only about the environment, because there is a myth that is kind of going in where purpose-driven marketing is only about environmental awareness, environmental consciousness. No, it's not. It's beyond that, right? Anything beyond what you solely do for business, that is purpose, right? You take up a particular cause, it need not be environmental related. It could be, let's say, implementing ethical trade practices, like fair trade practices, like ensuring that your supply chain is clean, right? Even that becomes a part of your purpose-driven marketing.
Thank you. Right, so for me, the most important keyword is authentically. And yeah, it's a big question. How do you start actually? We in Sapiens S2P, we face the difficulty actually. We are yet small. We don't have any budgets actually for marketing campaigns. We don't even think about it. This would be a dream. So what we are doing is, and I'm a big fan of guerrilla marketing, and do the things on your own. Yeah. So as long as you don't have the budget and the money actually to pay sophisticated marketing campaigns. And I'm also here sometimes not very convinced also from sophisticated marketing campaigns, and results and impacts actually. Yeah? So what we then started to do is, how do we prove authentically to our future clients that what we do is not just blah blah, what we do actually what we do actually, I mean fancy blah blah, what we actually do is, and what we actually do is has a real meaning. Yeah? So there's a real meaning behind, and we are not just talking about it and then showing off. So what we started then to do is, we went to events and conferences and talked to any kind of clients actually and talked about all their pains. Yeah? So I know from 17 years of procurement experience the pains of those companies. Yeah? They are almost always the same using all these ERP systems. And then the catch was here. How do we prove authenticity? We demo it directly. We demo it, it's real, it's existing, it's working, and now it's up to you to buy it or not.
I couldn't agree more. Authenticity is very, very important. So I want to stretch out that you cannot just slap a new slogan on and say, now we are all purpose-driven brand. And the 3 points that I would say is authenticity, transparency, and of course alignment. And I have an example. For example, we have the Lego company who announced that they want to go completely sustainable on their products by 2030. And they pledged that they're going to spend around $1.4 billion on that campaign. They hired over 150 engineers and developers to create that product, or scientists. And over 6 years, they spent more than $400 million, and what came of it, unfortunately, was nothing. And they announced that they can no longer continue with the project. It was an impossible task. But of course, everybody knows about this campaign. It was very big. They used a lot of marketing budget, as you mentioned, but nothing came of it. Then we have brands like Ray, who are more on the authentic side. We talk about the outdoors and nature, and they don't just talk about the slogans. They integrate it in the core of their company, and they have their employees and every part of their business integrating that value. We have brands like Dove, which talks about body positivity for women, and this is again about alignment with your customers. They know what the customers need, and that was one of the first movements about positive image of the body, and that is something that they're really still advocating. It has created a massive movement, and that particular campaign had a lot of marketing, but you can start small and slowly add more to it. And the reason I mentioned the Lego one is because even though it was a failed attempt in the end, they did take the risk, and if you are going down the direction, you need to be prepared to have the budget and the commitment to stick with it. You cannot just try it out and say, okay, we're trying to be more sustainable or want to go towards more ethical practices, and then we're just going to drop it. And the truth is that there's always ways, with minimal cost, as you mentioned. We, in our factory, have the cutouts that we have. We don't send them to wastelands. We pack them up and we give them free to whoever wants them. We have them on our website. We send them to universities and other practices. And this is our part of the charity that I mentioned. It's called Make Less Fabric Waste. And this is absolutely minimal cost to us. Of course, there's a bit of admin and things, but that doesn't stop us. And there are other things like switching your energy into more sustainable sources, and that's something that it might have a small difference, but it makes a big difference to the world. And the way to really show that you are doing these things is by, by taking little steps every time.
That's lovely. So I love the example of you said all the waste is not going to the landfill and you're giving it to the needy and they can do the upcycling and recycling of it. And that's a part of including purpose into your business life. So I want to ask this question. So how can brands effectively communicate their purpose-driven initiatives to the consumers without coming across as disingenuous or fake, how?
Yeah, so coming back to authenticity, and your mission. Yeah? So you must have a mission, not again blah blah. Yeah? So a real mission. Yeah? So a real mission where any type of person in the world can directly relate with this in terms of emotional connection. So it can be also in any language, but must be just clear, simple, direct, and impacting, hitting it. Yeah? So if you come with a lot of blah blah, you lose people. You lose anyway a lot of people when you do even 2 sentences. Yeah? So you know the story with 7 things, and the 7th will fall apart when you put the 8th one in. So for me or for us, what we found out is when we explained in our demo calls, and call me crazy, but we had since October, I think, 120 really demo calls, so every demo call 1.5 hours, 120 different clients. So and it turned out that it paid off. Being honest, being transparent, being authentic, not selling them the stars, the moon, and whatever. So, or let's say you want, we are offering you a jumbo jet and you get a Cessna in the end. Yeah, so also these kind of things. It paid out that our mission we communicated is to change this world. So not just to change, so for real, yeah? Not just changing the world, but change and help to move and transfer or transition into the new work world. Much more easier, and showing also everybody, you are already in this world. Okay, so we are here to help you, to guide you through this new space and universe actually. And I can tell you, after 120 client calls, I've realized that 90% of them, they don't know anything. They don't have a clue what's coming. They don't have even a clue what's already existing. And here it paid out being authentic and telling them our mission is, yeah, of course we want to make, everybody wants to make money, but it's not all about money. What it is about is we really want to change this world, because I have run this job before, 70 years long in companies, 12 corporations in procurement, and I know their pains. I felt it myself, and therefore I can relate to those people. And then people feel it. They feel that you're not just blah blah.
To add to this authenticity, it's more about the intent, as you mentioned, and this authenticity can come through storytelling. And the storytelling is all about being transparent and really explaining where you're coming from and what you're doing. And this is a way to really show that this is not just about the profit. You're really doing something good. You really do help, and you are following your word. So your community gets more trust. A way to do that is also by partnering with the bigger brands, and that will create a lot of credibility and trust around it. You can publish reports or publish certification to show that, yeah, look, really, we are doing what we're doing. We have almost replaced all of our collection of fabrics now with sustainable ones, and we have all the certification online. People can see, and we do educate people about it, where it comes from, and what kind of impact it has in the world. Other ways you can do it is by actually getting your customers to be a lot more involved in the story itself. You can get them to be volunteers to your mission. They can be involved even by buying the product, as you mentioned, with Tom's. You can buy 2, one will go to a child in need, or they can physically come and help on whatever needs to be helped. And in that way, they feel a lot more part of that community. They are not anymore just observers. They are active members of what you're doing and what they believe in.
That's lovely. So to make sure your communication is not very inauthentic, or you're doing it solely for a profit driven, not to come across as, the first step is you need to have some truth in what you're doing. Right? You need to have some insight in what you're going to communicate from your organization. Right? Insight or truth that consumers care about. I love the example that you gave on Dove. Right? I want to just expand that a bit more to explain why Dove is doing what it is doing. Right? So Dove's positioning is about restoring femininity. Right? They positioned it for women who are like 30 plus, not for the younger 20 plus crowd. who know that they're starting to age, they cannot stop their aging, but they would like to age gracefully, right? So at least this brand will help them age gracefully. So our objective, our mission, our position is I'll restore femininity in your life. That's one thing. Their purpose is real beauty, right? Why they took this purpose in first place is because the beauty industry, unfortunately, has set a fake benchmark on what beauty defined as, right? Beauty needs to be only about white and bright, flawless skin. It needs to be in size 0. You need to have this kind of hairstyle. Unfortunately, they've defined an extremely fake standards, which actually deprive a large portion of millions of women around the world on confidence and self-image. Right? They actually felt they are like good for nothing in the world just because somebody has set a fake agenda on marketing from the beauty industry. Dove wants to break that. See, there is an insight, there is a truth in why Dove did what they did. Right? They want to restore confidence among the women and say, like, hey, you don't have to be in this particular size or in this particular color to be beautiful. Everybody's beauty in our own right. That's why we are here to make you feel beautiful and restore your confidence. Right? They're not saying that, use Dove, you will probably pass the next interview, get the big job that you love. No, it's not. It's like you can be yourself. That's all Dove did, nothing else. Right? So that's one example why and how you can come across authentically, right? By having an insight or truth. Let's take a B2B example, right? Imagine if there is a business which is into medical technology, right? And if they have kind of identified a device which is going to detect, say, life-threatening diseases like cancer or any other diseases, say 10 steps ahead of what today's medical tests can do, right? Then your positioning or purpose need not be about AI-driven technology that's going to change the world. No, it's not, right? You are helping humanity live a better quality of life. That's the purpose that the brand should take because they need to be an insight. You're going to help humans reduce their suffering by detecting something a lot earlier. So you are physically saved from the harassment, you are financially saved from the cost that you're going to incur, right? And you're like mentally saved, your family is at peace, right? And you're also restoring faith in the medical fraternity and the doctors. That's how that needs to be positioned. That's why the very first step in this process is truth and insight. If you take that, you will come across as real and authentic, and people won't see you as you're doing something for profit.
Great. But we're not finished yet. But Anand, I'm impressed by this answer, and even more what I'm impressed about is you used marketing technique and nobody even has seen and heard it, because you know what you said? You said gracefully aging. There's no gracefully aging, you're aging like anybody else. This is marketing, right? This is how you sell a product? Great. Very good. Okay, let's get to the next question. Sorry, I have to read that again. Digital storytelling. What role does digital storytelling play in purpose-driven marketing? And how can brands use it to connect more deeply with their audience?
Now imagine you're scrolling through your feed, and on Instagram or wherever you go for your media, and you stumble across a brand that you know and you like and you follow, and suddenly you see a video that they're doing a water project, a clean water project in a village, and you see the smiles on the kids' faces, you see the way they open the tap for the first time and the water flows everywhere. You have the team of the brand talking about what they've done, how they've done it. They talk about the process, and more importantly, they talk about the failures and the struggles they had to get there. And that authenticity and that narrative creates an emotional bond. And we all know that in marketing, the urge to buy is usually through an emotional connection to the product. Renee, we have is about the pain points you spoke about earlier. And this is through storytelling. It's the most powerful tool for me in the marketing world, and this is the way to actually get your clients really involved. It's tangible, it's relatable, it's heartfelt and personal, and that's really what makes it unique and what makes it stand out for everyone. By sharing a story, you're weaving the narrative into people's lives. You're getting them to relate, to worry, to care, to laugh, And those emotions are what's going to make them remember your brand and actually want them to be part of that community. And you stay, you watch the whole thing, you say to a friend, it will play into your mind later on. These are the things that we use, I suppose, in marketing. And in purpose-driven brands is a great way to really put your mark in there and make your brand stand out in the crowd.
Yeah, that's lovely. I agree with you. I have a different view on this particular topic or question. Okay? So there's a saying that people read what interests them. Sometimes it's an ad. Sometimes, right? Not all the time. Right? Digital as a medium is extremely powerful, right? Because democratized any company or business in the world to connect with consumers and directly communicate what you want to say and what you want to stand for. But unfortunately, it's being exploited mercilessly by businesses. It's being murdered mercilessly by businesses. Right? There's a reason for it. Imagine if you have to communicate about what your company stand for, what your brand is doing, through print or through television or through outdoor or any other medium, where you have to spend through your nose to communicate. You have to think twice and thrice before you do something. And whatever that you're going to communicate, you have to put your heart and soul and ensure that it moves people. That's the kind of effort that you put in crafting the messaging or storytelling when you're going to release it in other mediums. Right? When it comes to digital, just because it is free, like people don't care about what they want to put in. Okay, it's quantity that is unfortunately being prioritized over quality. Right? What are we going to post today? We didn't post it for like 2 hours now. What are we doing now? I was like, why? Why do you have to post so many times a day or so many days a week, first of all? That's the very first question. 2, whenever you're going to post the digital storytelling, let it be authentic and real that people stop the scroll and make notice of it. Right? Just because you feel the FOMO that, oh, I haven't posted it, people are not going to remember me. Just because you're going to post every day, it's the same scenario, people are not going to do. Like over a period of time, it becomes a blind spot. Nothing gets registered in their mind, they just like scroll over. You're like one of the micro fraction second, and they just scroll over you. That's about it, nothing else. Right? So, what Patagonia did, like one of your early examples, quoted on purpose-driven marketing, they said like, don't buy this jacket. That's the messaging that they did. It's very counterintuitive for any business to say, don't buy this jacket unless you really need it. Right? Because there is an environmental impact that goes when you buy the particular product. We all know it's an unfortunate truth that consumerism is actually trying to deplete the environment. Right? We try to hoard so many things which we may not even need it. That's what Patagonia did. It actually like shocked people and they took notice of it. Right? Try to come up with some messaging which is very unique and real and authentic. Prioritize quality of communication and narrative than quantity. That's my view on this topic.
Yeah, fantastic. So I can't be always the nice guy, so I agree to disagree to agree.
Please.
So the thing with storytelling, especially digital, we have not yet established it. I'm actually after this one since half a year. I yet don't have the solution how to go for it. There are solutions, there are companies who can help on this, but the best storytelling is shown in pictures. Yeah? Show it in pictures, simple, direct, easy. Yeah? So that everybody can, you don't even need to use languages or any words, yeah? So you can just let a cartoon run and let the cartoon explain what is the mission, what is their problem, and what is the benefit actually in the end, what they are getting from buying it. And I, for myself, know it's capturing me as well. Yeah? So if I see things like this, and I'm even not interested in the product, I still look at it because it's easily just explaining me something what I previously would have to read through text and pages. And also with the posts, the problem today with digital is it's oversaturated. There is a certain oversaturation on the net. It doesn't matter if it's social media platform. Huh? So I see it on LinkedIn, for example. Yeah, why do you have to post every day? Yeah, otherwise you're getting lost in all this masses of posts every day. Huh? So it's oversaturation, and here again, I think the differentiation will come when you post a lot. Don't post so much text. Post something easy, simple, so people directly see, understand it, and when they want to, they can look into it more in detail. Yeah? But just from the post, it must be something what is catchy, what identifies directly with your product, but also identifies with the pains of the clients, customers, how you want to see it. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Thank you. We have one last question. So, in the realm of purpose-driven marketing, how do brands balance profit-making with ethical considerations and sustainability?
This has always been a paradox. That's what people think. Right? If you have purpose, you cannot make profits. If you have profits, you cannot probably be purpose-driven or stand for something. I think you don't have to forego one for the other. I strongly believe in that, and data says so. There's this study by Deloitte, which they closely monitored the financial performance of purpose-driven companies, and they found two interesting outcomes. Right? So, purpose-driven companies exhibit 30% higher levels of innovation in their business operations. Right? So, you know what happens when you're more innovative than your other competitors? You're obviously going to have a direct impact on the bottom line and profits. And it also found that these purpose-driven companies have 40% higher levels of talent retention in the organization. Right? Business is nothing without its people. Right? When you have the best talent that is working for you, again, you're going to help accelerate your growth and profit. That's like very important point. And the other study, there's an interesting book called Firms of India. Right? They study financial performance of purpose-driven companies. They took 18 companies in the US and they closely monitored the financial performance after 10 years after they inculcated purpose into their business. And they found that all these 18 companies on an average has given a return of additional 11% return on equity than an average S&P 500 company. And these 18 companies put together in general have actually yielded 10 times more returns than S&P 500 itself. Right? That clearly shows that you don't have to forego one for the other. You have to prioritize purpose first, the profits will automatically follow. Yeah.
Great answer. So, I will make it short so that we have enough time also for some questions for the audience.
Sure. Any questions from the audience?
Yeah, give me just a second. I'll just give you one practical example from my own. Ethics, sustainability, balanced profit making. Actually, the last 6 months I've worked for 0 salary in order to actually invest from my own as a partner and actually also managing director, the same like the CEO and founder. So we invested all our private money. Yeah? And we even did not have enough money to make marketing campaigns. Yeah? So, but again, there's a lot of other costs you have to pay. And why did we do this? Just for one simple reason, because we believe in this, what we are doing. We believe that our mission is part of the new future and it is sustainable because we are actually helping everybody and the corporations to stop wasting their time so that they can use their time for more, not just creative stuff. No, they can use the time now to save the world, for example. Questions?
Anyone? Oh, please.
So hi, I'm Adishri. I'm from Mumbai, India. Very enlightening panel views. So there's a brand. And my question can go to Anand or anyone of you. Anand, there's a brand of Unilever called Fair and Lovely, which is now Glow and Lovely. 1975 old, like 1975 was the starting point I think of this brand. Somewhere, because of the fact that it said fair and lovely, it was taken as a racial discrimination. What would be your suggestion to a brand like this, which is like a lineage, went into Glow and Lovely? And if they had to take some step to infuse and suggest that it is not only a change in name, but somewhere they felt for it and they have changed the purpose. Any views?
Yeah, that's a lovely example. I think Unilever's had a very, they realized that they've done a wrong thing in their conscience. So what damage that they created with one brand on Fair and Lovely, they tried balancing it with Dove on the other side, unfortunately. So ideally, they would have shut the business. They should have shut the business or shut the brand, ideally. That would have been an ideal scenario because they've actually, I mean, that's one of the brands that actually drove great injustice to millions of women out there on confidence and self-esteem, to be very honest. And of course, Unilever, being a global company, listed company, on one side you also are answerable to shareholders. They said they can't take an extreme risk of shutting the brand down. What is the minimal thing that they can do to reduce the damage that they've done? And they just changed the name to Glow and Lovely. Yet it truly doesn't negate the damages that they've done, to be very honest. So, ideal thing is they would have shut something and they would have started something else. They can easily make money through so many other innovations that they can do. They should have shut down. I don't know why they're still keeping it. It's still a black dot on their portfolio, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Hi, Malia. I'm from Pakistan. That was a lovely discussion. Just 2 points. You've very clearly mentioned that there are certain points that purpose-driven brands, and you'll have to excuse my voice, it's too early in the morning, but anyways, I honestly feel, and that's part of my humble experience, that another point that you need to add is ownership and accountability. Because if you own a purpose for a brand, the results are quite different. And also, like you mentioned, Lego, and the fact that it was a failed experiment, there was still accountability for it, but not reprimanding the fact that they took that risk. So that was point number 1. And the other comment I want to make to the two of you regarding Fair and Lovely and Glow and Lovely is that even when they changed the name, I don't know whether you guys read that or not, but obviously social media is an open book. Somebody actually wrote that Glow is a synonym for fair, so wasn't really doing the job. So I don't know, but there is a very thin line that brands have between a backlash, between shutting them, and hurting sentiments. And I think as marketers, we should all be aware of that. Thank you very much.
I'll start with the Lego. Yeah, so quickly, about the Lego is very interesting because it's quite recent and we don't really know how the public will react because the problem has not really been resolved. It's still, polluting, it's still the plastic and the people are still outraged of the amounts over there. It could be, they might approach the topic in a different way. They could recycle them, you could have these things where you can take them back to the shop, get a little bit of money and then they can reorganize them, wash them, etc. So, of course, accountability is absolutely a very good point. And I think what I mentioned earlier is that you should talk about the failures as much as the successes. And what is nice and authentic about them is that they had no choice. They had to come out and say, sorry, we tried. And the truth is, this is the money, that's what we spent. Okay, we pledged more, but we just can't do it.
Yeah, so maybe just 2 words from us. It sounds to me like fancy blah blah. Yeah, but it is. Yeah. So the thing is, in the past, I think it was Ford who said that public relations do something good and talk about it. Yeah, in this case, it's actually talk about something good you've never done actually. Yeah, and convince the people of something what's not real. Yeah? And how are you doing it actually? I heard it's a big company. Yeah, they have a lot of marketing campaign money. So it's the same also with the pharmaceutical companies. I've worked for a couple of them. I will not name any one of them, but the thing is, yeah, there's a lot of things which are told, but the truth is different. Yeah? So
That's great.
Do we have time?
Sorry?
So, yeah, if you want to continue the answer.
No, you made a very valid point on the ownership part on for purpose-driven brands. Yeah, not many brands actually do that, right? When it comes to some bad PR, they just like back off, unfortunately, right? So the brand that we discussed about, the Patagonia one, like nobody can actually compete them on having that sense of ownership. I think they've done something which is unimaginable by any other brand, like going and suing the President of the United States for what they've done to the environment. And on top of that, they have the audacity and the guts to include a message in the small label. I don't know how many of you know that. During the election time, they said, vote the assholes out. They said that officially in the product. But that
Why not?
comes only when you take the ownership into your hands completely.
But
Good.
why not?
Thank you.
I like that one. Huh? And by the way, the president is also just a human being, like anybody else. So why shouldn't be sued for anything? Welcome to the new world. So
Exactly.
Okay, just a last question maybe, small one. So, great session. Thanks, Anand, Artemis, and Dario. I'm Amit from Hyderabad, India. My question here is, we have all been talking about purpose and brands and everything. What I feel, most of the companies fail at the base point of defining what is the purpose. So how do you help companies, create a better vision, a clearer, well-written mission, vision, purpose? That is where they fail. And we all start talking about we are an, AI-driven or, all those fancy blah blah words that we have been talking about. I love that phrase. I'm going to keep using it. But so
gracefully aging.
so how do you what do you suggest? What can help companies create that purpose?
Yeah, so I make it very quick and simple. I think every company should first think about it, what their product is bringing as a value. What is the value your product brings? So if your product doesn't bring really a value, yeah, forget it, okay? So forget to start fabricating something what is not real. So you really need to think about what value brings. I mean, in the end, any product brings any value to somebody, okay? So, but this is what you have to find out. And this is, that's not mathematics. That's something you really have to think about. What certain people who have a lot of knowledge and expertise and then also know about what they're talking. So the mission again, so you must come together to a vision which leads to the mission. And without this, you don't even need to go.
I think what is very important is consistency. So if you want to have your mission written, it has to start from the company, from your employees. You need to have all these values laid out. We have them actually printed and stuck on the wall. Everybody who is hired has to align with them. And then it goes back to your packaging, your product, what you do in your premises, how do you buy things. And a lot of brands miss out on this consistency. They focus on one thing, and then they leave everything else out. And that is where it gets confusing. And it's not about writing endless papers of missions and what to do and how this is done. It's about truly understanding. And I think the most successful ones are the ones where the leaders have a true belief and a true, honest mission towards that goal. Or it's something that really means something to them, and it's not just something they picked up out of the hat and said, okay, now let's do less of that. And the way we did our brand is that we only print on demand, so we're really against fast fashion, and before we opened we said, okay, this is not going to work, we only print as much as someone needs, when they need it. We're introducing new ways for pattern making so that people will use less fabric, and then it won't just become an endless landscape of rubbish everywhere.
Yeah.
That's right.